Hey, what's up? This is Charles from IGN, and I'm looking at the Guild Wars 2 beta right now. This is ArenaNet's MMO that's coming out sometime in 2012, currently in closed beta testing. I'm playing a warrior at this point. Not very high level, but I have unlocked some skills and things like that, so I can show off a little bit of what the warrior does. So there are a lot of ways to customize your profession and or class, as it's called, in Guild Wars 2. You can equip a whole bunch of things, but mainly your skill set that you see at the bottom of the screen here. On the left hand, this is a different skill set over here that doesn't have anything to do with the weapons. This is my heal. This skill set on the left is tied to the weaponry that you happen to have equipped. So I have in right now a one-handed sword and a buckler or a shield. And then I can swap in other weapons, like this greatsword, for instance, which is a two-hander, so it takes up both slots. But then you notice I get a different set of skills down here. So if I put the sword back in, I now have 3 skills associated with the sword because there are 2 with offhand. So I put the offhand back in here, and there we go, I have my skill set of 5. For every skill set, you also, well, every weapon, you also get a different adrenaline bonus, which I can show off in a bit here once I proceed to combat. But the warrior uses a huge variety of weaponry. There are a lot of different weapons that are eventually available, which you can see here. Sword, which can go main hand or offhand, hammer, longbow, axe, greatsword, mace, rifle, warhorn, and shield, and then the harpoon and spear gun are underwater weapons. But as you can see, you can use bows, you can use guns, you can use giant weapons, you can use one-handed smaller weapons with offhands. A lot of potential combinations for the warrior, so a lot of different ways to fight. And they're all pretty fun. The warrior is not just somebody that is completely crippled without a healer around. That is because in Guild Wars 2, every class gets a heal. So I have a heal right here. Actually got a full adrenaline bar for that, and as I enter into combat and fight things, you'll see my adrenaline build, which eventually lets me use this flurry move, which in this case, with the one-handed sword, has the effect of immobilizing a target for a few seconds if I decide to use it. So I'm going to go fight this centaur over here. Hit F1, this is my F1 ability. And there we go, you can see he's kind of immobilized for a little bit, and now I have some help from some other players, and he's dead. But yeah, this adrenaline will build as you fight so that you can just continue using that. So it's just another way that your skill set changes depending on what you happen to be fighting with. So in terms of my actual 5 skills down here that are active right now, the basic auto attack will do damage, as well as create a bleeding effect. So that is my standby. I'll have that active at all times. The warrior can also leap at enemies with the sword with this 2 ability, which I'll try here. It has pretty good range. I didn't actually go far enough to do damage there. But and then hamstring can cripple foes and slow their attack speed. So if I do decide to dodge away, you'll notice dodge consumes endurance over here. But their speed is dramatically reduced in that case. So that is a useful skill, and it's nice to have the leap because it means the warrior is much more mobile instead of having to run up and get into everything's firing arc range before being able to deliver a strike. There we go, there's the leap. Well, oh my, I apparently just got face planted by the centaur. That didn't really work very well. I'm going to do F1 to immobilize, jump away, and then there we go, I actually did damage with that. I really need to heal here, so there we go. You can see how the heal is effective in combat. The reason this guy is creating a lot more problems for me than the other ones, I'm going to try 3 in hamstring. And is because this is a veteran level enemy, so this is kind of the tougher monster. Alright, there's the hamstring, move away. He's not in very good shape. I'm going to hit F1 and immobilize, jump away, and there he goes, he's done. So yeah, a lot of movement options there. I also have a shield equipped, so I have 2 shield-specific skills. Well, here, let me heal first, just in case anything jumps at me. You'll regen health between fights as well. But shield stance will basically set up a shield and let me block for a period of time. And then shield bash is exactly what you think it might be, where I smash people with a shield. And here, I'll try and do it to this guy before he dies. Nope, it's already dead. bash people with a shield and gain a short duration stun, which I will do to this guy. There we go. Stun for only a very brief period of time, but that brief period of time could be enough to set up some space for me to heal without getting completely murdered. So that's the sword and shield. Nothing crazy in that skill set. Pretty basic, but very useful. So what I'm going to do now is switch over to a different weapon set. I'm going to swap out to the greatsword, which is a little bit more exciting. I have other options here that I could swap in, like for instance the warhorn with my one-hander, but you'll notice the warhorn skills are not unlocked yet. When you find weapons in Guild Wars 2, you have to actually use them to unlock them. It doesn't take a very long time, but it takes a little bit, and I think it's basically just implemented that way so that you get a chance to practice with each skill as it becomes available. So though I do have the warhorn, I have to unlock those skills in order to actually use it. However, I have the greatsword entirely unlocked, so now I get a fresh set of 5 skills, and also my F1 skill has changed. This is now called Arcing Slice, and again, it consumes adrenaline. But what it does is it stacks might on things that I hit with it, which gives me increased power thereafter for a short duration. So basically, I can just do more damage for a little while, which is nice. I'm going to try and find some more Centaur, but it looks like those guys have been kind of going nuts with these. All right, so I have a basic auto attack. This auto attack actually decreases defense. So in this case, I just run up to people, hit auto attack. You can see the debuff show up on the character thing here. Defense is decreased, stacks intensity, it's up to 4 now. Then I can use 2, which is 100 blades, which just does a whole bunch of strikes and does a lot of damage really quickly. So this is much more, you don't find a lot of defensive abilities here with the greatsword. Since I've sacrificed the shield, I don't have those shield abilities, but I do have a lot of damage abilities. What you see pop up here, this is Guild Wars event system where things will just happen out in public. And then players can choose to join in or not join in. And it looks like I just joined in whether I wanted to or not. Whirlwind Attack is a pretty interesting one. You can see the giant arrow on the ground. If I use this, I just go flying through, swinging my sword around, and that is obviously good for doing damage in a line. I don't know why I just used the 2 skill there. That wasn't the best idea. But yeah, it's dangerous though, because where you wind up at the end might not be exactly where you want to be, so that's when your dodging and escape mechanisms become important. Here, this veteran's back up. So if I use 4, here I'll jump back so you can see this a little better. Or not, there we go. 4 is a sword throw, so I toss my greatsword. Comes back. I don't know how I catch that. That looks like it would be really challenging. But it does have a few effects. It cripples the foe, so it makes them not quite as fast in addition to dealing damage. And then Rush is good for closing the distance. So if I find another Centaur around here, it should be somewhere. There we go. Nope. Find some kind of enemy. I can rush at them like this, and then deal damage, and then immediately get engaged in a fight. So it's a nice way to close in. And there we go. I just unlocked some stuff. That's pretty good. And yeah, I can actually show off how this progression works. That was the bonus I got for participating. This is just beta stuff. You can ignore that. For participating in that event quest. But what I just did there was, because I leveled up, and you'll unlock more of your customization system as you go. I got a utility slot, and I don't have... Oh, I can spend 2 skill points if I want throw bolas to mobilize my foe. I spend the 2 skill points I have to buy this. Confirm. There it is. It's unlocked. I go to my unlocked skill set, swap it in, and there you go. Now I now have a bola ability available if I wanted to use it. So let's check that out real quick. Movement and parrying effects are pretty important, especially if I'm all about damage dealing, and probably going to get into situations where I'm at low health, fighting someone real close up. It would be nice to be able to do something like that and snag them, essentially, and then come in and deal more damage. And then of course I can use the Arcing Slice here, assuming I can catch up with this guy. And there, you can see the effect of increased damage is now on my character with, so I can always rush as well, throw my weapon to close distance, rush in, and once I'm in close range, do this attack, which of course that was not the best application of it, and you know, if I get frustrated, I can always just do this. So it's a pretty cool variety of moves, and it seems like the warrior will have a huge variety of moves once you actually find all these different weapons and unlock all the weapon skills. You can actually play around with this a little bit in the PvP interface, where if you go into the lobby, you control a PvP character that has the full thing unlocked and can sort of practice around with some of the different skills in case you're pretty low level like I am right now in the PvE game. But that's a look at the warrior. For looks at more professions in Guild Wars 2, as well as information on PvP and lots more, you can check out IGN.com or head over to IGN's YouTube page.